Album review. Today's album is the 1975 Notes on a Conditional Form. I am joined today by myself, Denver, Joe.
Hello.
Will.
Hello.
And Aidan.
Conditional. Fucking terrible name to an album. For a terrible album. Awesome. Glad we got that out of the way. Honestly, I regret my decision for picking this album. It has not enlightened me. It has not inspired me. And if anything, it's made me dislike the 1975 and their dumb artsy ways. Like, listening to this album was a total waste of time. And the minimum 4 hours I spent with it was too many. I would like them back.
It's a long album.
The longest we've had so far.
Really?
It is a very long album. Was it 1 hour 20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
But, and that being said, like, this kind of happened last time with the first album that we did, and I ended up liking the songs I liked after I forgot that there was Chod in the album. So who knows, maybe a year or so down the line I'll be like, man, this was great.
Because you'll forget about the Chod.
Yeah, because I'll forget about 90% of the album. One thing I definitely noticed about this album, well, this album especially, is that the lyrics are fucking awful. And in so many of the songs, they are just the ramblings of a fucking madman. And have no correlation or connection to the song. They're just crazy.
In what sense?
Like, half the time, he's just spouting bollocks and nonsense.
I think that's just because you just don't understand.
No one understands. Nobody understands. It's because it's like trying to, like, I don't even have an analogy for this one.
Have you ever actually watched an interview with Matt Healy? Sometimes he just goes on these rants of, like, saying words. You kind of like...
I think this is why you like him, because he and Elon Musk both do this. Where they just stutter and mumble and talk about random shit that isn't relevant.
I think it's because they can't express what they mean very well.
And that's because what they mean is probably fucking mental. On the outside, like, Matty Healy's going, yes, it's a really good album. I really enjoyed making it. In the back of his mind, he's like, do heroin and kill the children, Matty, come on. And, like, that's probably what's stopping him. And also, final sort of note that I wanted to bring up, there's one fucking song on this album with, like, a voice changer on at the beginning, and it's not artistic. I don't care if he's trying to be a kid or a girl. It just sounds like Alvin and the fucking Chip. Right. Now that we got that out of the way, worst song, People. It could have been a lot of the Chod on this album. Like, it could have been any of them. But I had to pick People because although it's kind of a meme to us in our inner circle, it's really fucking awful and has literally no melody and is just terrible. That's my notes. It's literally just terrible.
I think it follows on well, though, from the intro.
No, it
because
doesn't.
It says about, like, we need to... What was the thing that Grace says at the end? It's like, we need revolution or something, and then it's like...
The only thing it would follow on well from is a car crash.
Not if you actually, like,
go on.
take notice of the meaning behind the song.
Okay. I mean, you can't really hear what he's saying. I'll be honest.
Okay.
I can kind of... I mean, the first time I heard it, I didn't like it, but...
But now,
then
4 times in, I still hate it.
That song's been out, like, a while now, hasn't it?
It's true, it has. Third favourite, Nothing Revealed, Everything Denied. This is one of the more unique pieces on the album, and I think it has a pretty good chorus hook. It is nearly ruined by the odd rap verses, but I would say it's acceptable enough to keep it in the third position.
Is that other bit in the rap, do you think? Is that still...
No, that's what I was about to say. I also thought that they made the verse, like a call and response, was quite an interesting gimmick. I quite liked that about it, although it being still rap and not great, but it's probably still Matty. He's probably fucking about with a voice changer. That might be the reason
he does love the voice changes.
Yeah, but okay, that's it. I don't really. This is just full of hatred. I'm going to be honest. This entire review, I don't have analogies. God. I don't have anything funny to say. just fuck
Do you
this
think
album.
it's because it was such a sludge to get through, so you just like, even when you thought of like something funny to say, you're kind of like, oh fuck, there's still 10 more songs or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, second favorite, Playing on My Mind. I thought it was a nice little acoustic piece that actually suits his voice, unlike many of the other songs. He doesn't have a particularly powerful voice, does he, Matt Healy? Mr.
No.
Healy. And because of that, it lends itself well to a calmer, more like airy, acoustic-y kind of song. It's not the most inventive song in the world, and it's certainly nowhere even close to being a great acoustic song, but beggars can't be choosers, especially on this album. So, yeah.
Well,
No, it's just, yeah. And number one,
that's
obviously, gotta be number one if you're too shy. Kind of blew their load by leaking this song because it's basically the only solid song on the album. Has a real 80s aesthetic, which I totally fuck with. Catchiest chorus and the best melodies. And also, there's a sax solo in it. And no one could be upset with a sax solo. It's like trying to see a miserable person on a jet ski. It just doesn't happen.
A sax solo is something you just can't say no to.
Also, I feel like it's the only song on the album which is like their other albums.
Probably. So
maybe some of the acoustic ones, actually, because they had some acoustic ones on the previous album.
No, because the acoustic ones were good on the other albums. All in all, very disappointed with this album, especially after the praise their last album got. I feel betrayed by Matty Healy. Better luck next time.
Do you think you'll feel bad if they win Best Album again next year?
If they win Best Album of the Year, I will eat my own shoe.
You heard it here first.
Prepare
Because I think
Can't
every album.
Can't wait for the fucking shoe eat reveal that happens.
Because their last two albums won Album of the Year, didn't they?
Really? Oh
Yeah.
my god, I do not deserve that.
I like my odds.
At the Brit Awards, I mean, sort of British bands or artists.
Are there just no other British bands doing anything?
Are they the only guys that
the only ones releasing anything?
they turn up to the Brit Awards and it's just them in like a venue.
It's like a section and it's like British artists and it's like a full row of seats with just them on
it. Sat there in high anticipation of their reward.
Because that could be the only way I could ever see this album winning British Album of the Year.
So anything else to add in?
No, just a clean end, Denver.
Just a clean end. Oh, God. Well.
Okay. So, obviously, I think me and Denver might be slightly biased going into the album. That should be said probably from the start, because I think they could release liquid shit and we'd enjoy it. However, I do think that it was a great album.
Fuck off!
I genuinely do think it was a great album. Do not get me wrong.
No. Like, why, Will?
Well, I'm about to explain.
He's about to explain himself here.
This is the whole point of a review, Joe. You know, I'm supposed to say this and explain. I don't just go, it's good, and then go, all right, next. Who's next? Like,
that makes sense. You're right. Sorry, continue.
It's probably one of the weirdest albums I've ever listened to in terms of how I've ended up liking the songs. Okay, I'll try and explain it the best.
Force, like I will enjoy this.
To be fair, like even going into it, I was like, I know I'm gonna like it, like no matter what happens. If it was all shit, just because of loving their like whole thing in general. It's not my favorite of their albums. I still think like their last album was the best because it had like the most recognizable singles and songs, for fuck's sake.
Nice.
I do think it was a bit too long because I found it almost hard to like listen to so many times, because I don't know about you guys, but when I sit and listen to it, I usually just try and put it on while I'm doing something else. But then I never had like a task that was more than fucking an hour and 20 minutes. So I usually got like 3/4 of the way through listening to it. And then I was like pausing it to go do something else because I didn't want to. The other thing I wanted to do didn't mean that I could listen to it at the same time. So I found it quite hard in that sense. So I literally had to like force myself to do things even longer, or just literally do nothing but that to try and finish the actual album. What?
I don't know. That was just so wonderfully explained.
And this is why I like it because
No, and for fuck's. Do you know what? Do you want to just move on from me? Because I'm trying to explain that it was just.
I get what you mean. I was just.
Yeah.
It was just very. It was just really good.
Fuck yourself.
Can we get that on a t-shirt? That rant.
It wasn't right. I was just saying, in longer terms, that I found it a bit too long.
Okay, thanks.
And I think that is because of like all the little instrumental bits, which I'm guessing we've all counted them as songs, right? Because they are all pretty much longer than a minute 30, right?
In my eyes, there was about 4 songs on this album.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
just because they ain't got singing in doesn't mean they're not songs.
Well,
pretty much all
I
got
would
singing.
argue that they kind of are, because in my opinion, if it's not a song, as in it doesn't have singing, then I would class it as just music.
You say this, right? I think there was only 2 songs on the album which didn't have singing in it.
Well, yeah, but then like you can't really class singing as random. It's got a beat, and then all you hear is zoom up. You know what I mean? That's not really a song. That's still music. Sorry.
So, other than the random instrumentals, every other song on the album, I can't honestly say, other than the top 2 that I've rated, I all thought of them exactly the same. Like, I didn't rate one over the other, so it was really hard to actually pick. Like, I've never had it like where nearly every song was as good as the other one. So, like, even when Kieran was like saying earlier about what do you think your favorite song is, I think I literally picked on my last listen almost just before this, because I just think it's really hard to pick one. But worse for me is Having No Head. That is because it's just like, it is just an instrumental, but it's a really long instrumental, the longest of them. And while I don't think it's a bad instrumental, I think it's just really unnecessarily long.
Keep saying instrumental. Do you mean song?
Yeah, but it's like an instrumental song, is it? You know what I mean?
Do you not understand the logic behind having no head? Because how can he sing if he's got no head?
That's smart. That's so Matty.
Fuck's sake.
Thanks, Matty.
That's why it's got no lyrics in it. I've made that up, but I bet that's the logic.
Probably.
That sounds like Matty Healy logic.
His follow-up album's going to have a follow-on song called Neck Stump.
Like, for fuck's sake, he has a song called Bagsy Not In Net. Like, I don't think Americans will understand that, really.
Doesn't he also have Jesus Christ 2005, God Bless America?
Yeah. But what's the reference behind that? Am I being an idiot?
No, you're not, Denver. No one understands it, remember?
What happened in 2005 in America? That's not when 9/11 happened, was it?
No, maybe there was a second 9/11.
I'm going to Google it now. Hang on. 2005.
Isn't that when they won Independence Day?
Oh, yeah,
What, from the
2005.
Sorry.
It's when the aliens took it.
I like the idea that Independence Day in Joe's eyes is a documentary.
Isn't that when Will Smith went up and like killed all?
Welcome to Earth. Thanks, Will Smith.
That's hard. I like that the idea that's the first thing he says to him. Have you found it, Denver?
I'm on a website which is events that happened in America in 2005, and there's nothing like super of note that's popped out straight away. It's just like, oh, the New England Patriots won the Super Bowl.
Maybe that was the year that Matty Healy slammed his bollocks in a door frame, and that's what changed his life forever.
Maybe that was like the first time we went to America or something.
Anyway. So why don't you ask him?
I don't have his number, sadly.
No, just DM him.
Just DMA. What happened in 2005?
That made you like America so much?
Oh, never mind.
Go on.
800. I thought it meant Osama bin Laden was killed, but it just says 1,000 Americans killed in Iraq in 2005.
Hooray!
Oh, why are you laughing?
I don't know why you're laughing at that. Like,
Why are you laughing? Like what?
I thought it said Obama was killed, and I was like, "Oh, that's really good." And then
Obama? Do you mean Osama?
Oh my god.
I meant Bin Laden.
Oh, it must have been about because the space shuttle started launching again after the
Must have
Columbia
been.
disaster.
Yeah.
I
Issued
think he
of
was more
course
just-
by our president, Obama bin Laden.
I think he's probably more just referencing a time in his life, guys. It's probably nothing.
Planet was discovered in 2005.
Isn't it sad that we do have to speculate about this though? Because we don't.
No, because it
understand
will be
that.
in the lyrics. So we've probably just been too lazy to fucking try and understand it.
Yeah, that's the reason.
I think on Spotify, on your
should
phone,
have
it literally
to
shows you what
fucking
happened.
decode it, shouldn't I? I should have to decode his songs.
Right,
to
you're saying
fully
this
enjoy them.
because you like cheesy shit that says it literally word for word, just super easy.
Hurricane Katrina happened.
More like her.
Oh my fucking god!
Oh.
It's nothing to. Yeah.
So having no head was the worst song because no singing and it's very long. That's the gist of it.
Yes, pretty much. It's nice instrumental though. It's just yeah, and yeah, top 3. Third for me, like I say, it could have been pretty much. I've got so that many honourable mentions. It's not even worth saying them. But number 3 was Guys. I remember seeing it live. Absolutely loved it. The music video is great. Obviously got great meaning behind it. I like it because it's one of the first ones he's done where he's written about. I don't think you see many bands actually write about their own.
Love for
their
men.
own. Yeah, well, you don't see many bands like honour themselves kind of thing. I think that was really nice and just yeah, it's really wholesome and a great song, and his voice sounds great in it. Second for me, which like I say, I think number 1 and 2 was the most I was struggling with to pick between. Second for me was the Me and You Together song. I think it's just like the most happy song on the album. That or If You're Too Shy, Let Me Know. Between them two being just like happy, upbeat, and awesome. I think like they're the two as well that have been really recorded weird, but like almost like old school, like the way they've been recorded. And Joe can probably tell us more about that. But like, just
I hope he does.
Back to Joe in the music engineering corner.
Hello, I'm Joe, and this is the Music Engineering Corner. What would you like to know today?
Have you got any information on those songs sounding old?
Not really.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Back to Will.
No worries.
But yeah, it reminds me a bit of like Give Yourself a Try, even though it's very just like the same kind of style. And that was like my favourite 1975 on the last one. I think it's great. And the 90s vibe as well is awesome. But number 1, controversially, is People.
Oh my god! Actually,
I
just
genuinely mean this.
Stab yourself in the neck with a straw and watch it bleed out.
Right. Before you give your explanation, Will, you know, we're a good, 15
I
minutes
mean, Joe, if your top 1 isn't People...
And what my thing is, Will, I gave you a chance. I still don't understand why you like the album.
Because nothing
Nothing you said has really justified it. Oh, it's all going to be revealed in the summary.
Because I like the songs, right. And I'm trying to explain it, but you keep interrupting and going.
Yeah,
so, why'd you like it then, Will? You know.
Yep. And no, sorry, it's all going to be revealed in the summary. I'm looking forward to it.
No, because now you're just like putting me under pressure. Why put me under pressure? Don't do that to me, because I'll just flop. I don't do that. So you know what, Joe? I'm going to question every one of your decisions in your fucking pick. Yeah.
Let's relax the pressure. Come on, shake off the pressure. We don't need it.
Hang on, I want more hostility.
More.
And can I? Do you know? I'm trying to finish my album review, and I keep getting interrupted as well. So it's hard. It's hard to try and explain this.
I get you. Will. It's a hard time.
No, you don't understand.
Okay.
You don't.
People is my favourite, but I think it is just great. Do you know? Is that good enough for you?
Fuck off, Will.
All that hype just used to go because it's just great.
Great. Wow. That was such a build-up as well.
Oh god.
Did you like that? Oh,
I
that's
really
great.
did.
I thought you would like that.
Go on.
No,
Why is it great?
I think it's like Denver said a lot about the Don Broco thing. Is like he didn't like them that much until he had an experience with them. And I think 1975 for like me really came out when we saw them at Leeds Festival, and it completely changed my entire perspective on them. And People was the song that they came out with, and it just like, and they'd released that song literally the day before that we at Leeds Fest, and I remember listening to it and thinking like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
This doesn't sound anything like them. And to just kind of like come out to that and it be so fucking good live, like it honestly one of the best songs I've ever seen live, considering like no one knew the song, just the reaction was crazy. And like even now, I can honestly say I listen to that song more than any of the other songs on this album. And going back, because I thought as well before this song it would be If You're Too Shy that would be up in my top 3, and it's not, because
Do you think you've heard it too much?
I think like I listened to it way too much when that live performance came out as well.
Mm.
And I don't think the actual recording of it was as good as like how it was live.
I think that has it with some of their songs, like because we experienced this when we saw them. Like some of the artsy songs that we had reviewed on previous albums, like "What Is This Shit?"
Yeah,
like really work live.
Exactly. And I just think People works. I don't know. I just it's hard to explain it really, but that reminds me so much of like a great time, and I think because it's so out there as well. Like there's not many bands that will. That's one great thing about this album is it's got pretty much every fucking genre you can think of, and I like how like free they are with that. Instead of just sticking to one thing, they're not afraid to try loads of different things. And yeah, it's just weird how that's become like my favorite, because I never would have guessed that initially, but it generally is like my favorite. I listen to it more than any of the others because it just gets me pumped, and it reminds me of a load of great times, and even the holiday.
Just like in summary, I'm different and quirky.
No, not at all. I think it's just I don't know. It reminds me of a lot of stuff. It's just
also
great.
Like if those
I know
songs
like the meaning
are so
behind
good
it as
live,
well.
Why aren't they stayed? Why don't they stay on the live? You know, why aren't they just performed live? Because quite frankly, they're just a waste of space on the album. Like you just skip them.
Well, I think what we found with like the last album is a lot of the little interlude stuff that are instrumental, they actually incorporate with their live performance.
Again,
so like in a way it makes more sense.
Why are they only in the live performance then? That's what I'm asking. Why put them in the album at all?
Because the album is supposed to be like
a journey. You're about to say a journey.
Yeah, it's funny. I have the word journey written in my notes.
But I think it is though. Like they're like a weird kind of band that do this, where they, instead of just creating like an album that's just like song after song of like stuff they've done, not like a typical pop group or people, they literally try and almost create like an artistic piece throughout their albums, much like Logic in the rap side or something like that. It's more of like trying to tell a story, even if it is in fucking Matty Healy language that makes no sense to a lot of people. I do think there's a lot of really positive messages in this, especially like Me and You Together song and People, which is another reason I really like it, which I think is a very relevant song right now as well. And it's really short and just catchy and great. So, yeah.
1975 is to music what a pop-up book is to literature.
No.
Okay, no, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I'd probably like to note ones that hadn't come out, though, because obviously all these ones that I've just said
just picked the ones that came out before this album.
So, like, the ones that I liked that I hadn't heard before was Roadkill, Nothing Revealed, Everything Denied, Tonight I Wish I Was Your Boy, and then probably Don't Worry. I think like those were the ones that stuck out most to me. Other than that, and definitely could have got like third place, but it was just, like I say, what I chose on the day because I like them all pretty much exactly the same. Yeah.
Joseph,
let me take you on a little trip.
Here we go.
A journey.
A journey. We were on holiday in February. And you guys were playing the shit out of the 1975.
Mm-hmm.
And originally I thought, you know what, I really don't like the 1975. I remember the last album, I wasn't too keen. And you know, I was just thinking, but you know, you kept playing it, and I started to get into it. And then you went and saw them, and I had the classic Joe missing out feeling.
FOMO.
So I was like, damn, I really want to get into the 1975 now. So when this album came out, I was like, this is my chance. It's my chance to prove myself that I really like the 1975. And I can go to the shows with you guys because I like them as well. But no, they ruined it. They ruined that feeling for me entirely because there's only, like Aidan says, like 4 songs on the actual album. And you have to go through an hour and 20 minutes of fucking pure chod to get to the odd song that's actually all right. So, we proceed with my review. Because it's not all bad. I thought, like, the songs that I enjoyed were actually pretty good. But again, there were songs that I like mostly already heard before, except for one little curveball in there. So the stuff that I heard was all right. I didn't like People.
Not a metal fan.
No, not a big fan of that because it's just a lot of mess. Like I like the first 5 seconds.
What, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Yeah.
It's a great alarm.
Yeah, I like that. And I like how it's a bit of a meme with us, but it's still a pretty terrible song. But I just didn't feel like I was expecting a lot more like energy with this album.
I can understand that.
But it was just all very mellow. Like I was expecting to oh yeah, let's fucking go. But People was like the only one that kind of got that feeling, and I couldn't say I was a big fan of the song. So it kind of, I was kind of disappointed, but maybe I had too high expectations, Maybe I had that feeling of just starting to get into them. I was like, fucking hell, brand new shit, awesome, really, it's bad, So we go on to my least favorite, which was Shiny Collarbone. I didn't feel like that song really had a reason to exist.
You're not a fan of Jamaican dance
booyaka,
rapness?
booyaka.
A little bit right there, bud. Tone down the booyakas by a bit.
Turn up the bass.
Turn it down. Turn down that bass.
Turn up the bass.
They're not allowed to hear this.
So yeah, I mean, the song just didn't really make sense. I didn't really feel like I had a reason, but I do like listening to it for the simple fact that it's funny. But I will never listen to it again.
Oh, it's like an ironic listen.
Yeah. Third favorite, Playing on My Mind. Like, very similar to what Aidan said, really. It was a bit, it's definitely far from a good acoustic song, but it had the slight potential to be there. I just wish he'd let his voice go a little bit more, I feel like he can hit notes, but he doesn't seem to express it,
I think it's because he can't actually.
A lot of the times in these songs, like he just seems to just chat shit. There's only a couple of songs where you're like, yeah, that's like a set melody. You can tell he's wrote that or written that. But then in like most of the songs, it just feels like he's got a notebook. And he's just singing stuff as he's writing it on his notebook. That's the best way I can kind of describe that. But because he's not fully wrote it yet, he's mumbling it. It's like when you write something down, you're like, that's what it felt like.
I think it's because a lot of these songs were originally just notes on a page, and then they've compiled them together, all these ragged songs they've been making throughout the years. And they've just put them all onto one massive album and called it Notes.
Oh my god. Fucking brain explosion.
That's why I think there's so many different genres on this. Because it's everything they've just played about with, and they've basically stuck throughout all the years, all these songs they've just messed around with, they've reimagined, made it into a proper song, and then banged it all on an album.
I mean, I don't know if I'd call it a proper song, but, Definitely. Fucking holy shit, that's a great conspiracy theory. Maybe that's what they did.
Why do you ask me?
I think it's because they did, 'cause I'm pretty sure, like, some of these songs he had, like, first drafts of from, like, back when they did their first album.
So they were like, all the stuff that we threw away because it was shit. We'll compile
Essentially,
all
maybe,
the shit together
Yeah,
and make
maybe.
it an album.
It's now starting to make a lot more sense.
I think that's why it also has such a different vibe to all the other albums.
It's all coming together. Second favourite. This is a bit of a curveball, but this one really stuck with me. And I actually really like this one. And I think there's something you should know.
Okay, what do we need to know?
The piano was cool. It was catchy. Even though the song went on for a little bit too long, in my opinion, I still think it was like, it was just chill. Like, I can imagine myself like on a beach. Just like, chilling. I like that one. That was all right.
I think there's something you should know. Oh, yep, sorry. Sorry. Carry on. I was like, that song doesn't exist. And
You call yourself a super fan.
It's very lo-fi,
I did think that with a couple of these on this album. A couple of, like, lo-fi songs.
A couple of lo-fi, just kind of chill.
Mm.
Yeah. Even though there wasn't many lyrics in it. And it was very occasional that he came out and sang things. And usually if he did, it was, I think there's something you should know. I still liked it. And I would chill to that. I was pretty chill with that song. But of course, my favourite was If You're Too Shy.
Hooray.
Because I feel like it's just the only actual song on the album.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Even though it's very lengthy. It's like 5 minutes long.
Yeah, but it deserves to be. It's got a sax solo.
It does, you're right. It does have a sax solo, and the sax solo is never lost.
And it has like a minute intro, doesn't it, before the music starts? But the radio version doesn't have that.
The better version, you mean?
And also the chorus before the sax is longer on this version than the radio version. Because he repeats it, like, if you're too shy to let me know, he repeats that twice, rather than in the edit. He just says it once and then sax solo.
So in conclusion, very disappointed, but the songs that were actual songs were okay.
Denver.
This album is like, it's a journey.
Here we go.
Because it's a funny one to listen to, because you were saying about the length, and I honestly didn't think it was long until, like, when I'd actually listened to it in order from the beginning.
Until about halfway through.
No, until like the song, until I could get to Too Shy from the beginning, no problem. Like, it did not feel long. It felt like, yes, there was some filler in there, but then always the song after it was really good, or good enough. There was definitely like a section from from Birthday Pie to like Tonight that was all solid. Like, I feel like there was enough good songs on here where if they would have just compiled those songs, they could have had a much shorter album with just those songs, and it would have been a very good album. And they're a very different feel to all their previous stuff. Where I feel like their previous stuff had like actual bangers on it, this album lacks what I'd normally class as like a banger or something I'd love to play, but a lot of like calmer, nice feeling songs rather than like that had like a nice vibe or groove to it rather than like hard hitting. Even though People's on there, and that is quite hard hitting.
As in punching you in the gut, hard hitting, not like good.
Yeah, but I liked People, but similarly to how Will liked it, like, because when we saw it live, and it just completely changed my perspective on them. Like, if I went back to review their previous albums now, I'd probably give their previous albums like 8 or above easily, whereas I think I gave them like 6.5. So I probably would rate their previous albums higher than this album.
I think that just shows the power of bias, though, really, doesn't it?
It's the power of how you relate that music to something.
Exactly, because when you're going into it with a clear mind like mine, clear as day, I can see that it's shit.
I feel like I have reflected that in my rating, though. I don't think my rating's like too persuaded by the fact that I'm like, oh my god, 1975. Because like I would gladly listen to this album again. Like I say, it's just past If You're Too Shy. I feel like the rest is like, they're just really okay. Whereas before that, I would say, like, other than like there's the few instrumental fillers, I would say they were all nice, like, feel good songs. Like, I enjoyed listening to all of them, and because they were like different in genre and sound, it was always quite refreshing. Like, you had that good contrast between all the songs because it wasn't just like pop song after pop song, or well, like I feel like you could get anyone to listen to this album and they would at least like one song on the album, which does hurt it in terms of how we do album review often. Because often with album review, the higher ratings albums are ones where like every song is kind of similar and we like that kind of song. Because then that's what gets the higher ratings. Obviously, it backfires if you dislike that kind of song, that kind of vibe, because then you're just going to hate every song on the album. Whereas this, I feel like everyone had to at least like some song on this album.
But then by that logic, if you came into the album liking a song like People, you're going to be horribly disappointed by the rest of their album.
Oh, for sure. But you would at least like People.
But then you probably like Fiddler as well. So Fiddler is another band. Very similar kind of music to the song.
Go, Gabe!
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, that's what they are.
Maybe we should pick the Fiddler album at one point.
I quite like them.
Maybe not.
See, you know for a fact, the fact that even Will threw that comment in there, they're wank. You know they're terrible.
Okay. But anyway, my least favourite song, by a mile, because it's the only song on the album that was awful to listen to, was Shiny Collarbone. Like,
yay.
What the fuck was that? Like, that was actually awful. It's the only one which I couldn't even stand to have on. Every other one, even like Having No Head, yeah, that was boring as hell, but I didn't hate to listen to it, so like, I would skip that. To be honest, I would probably skip almost all the ones at the end because they were kind of just a bit
forgettable.
Yeah, they were forgettable. They were nice songs to listen to just in the background. Like, I feel like a lot of these songs were almost like a movie's soundtrack. It's like they were like, right, well, we've got this movie and it's going to have all these different scenes in it. Write a backing song for all these different scenes. And I feel like that's what they did.
Like the end music for Cars.
Yes, but that perfectly syncs up with some of the 1975 song, apparently.
So, speaking of Shiny Collarbone, then, like, what did you guys think? Like Will and Aidan.
Like, I don't know how that wasn't the worst. Well, I kind of understand why you put People, actually, but
I don't really remember it. Hang on.
It's the Jamaican-y one.
Right.
It's like horrible dance music.
I don't mind it.
The reason I didn't hate it is because it sounds like something out of Hotline Miami.
Right. Okay.
It just reminded me of like Punch Club music.
It just completely changes about 10 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 seconds.
I didn't really dislike any of the instrumentals. I will say, I think the best instrumental was, I think it was What Should I Say? For some reason, I really liked that one. It reminded me of like another song. I think it reminded me of a TikTok, actually. I can't remember what TikTok it is, where they're just like dancing in the back garden. And then, I don't mind, I'm fucking rambling. But I think my favourite instrumental was What Should I Say? I would say Shiny Collarbone. I didn't mind it that much, to be honest. In fact, I quite liked the chanting in it. It was awful.
Anyway, third favourite was Tonight I Wish I Was Your Boy. I thought the piano intro was great. The whole song had a really great vibe to it. I kind of liked the contrast of like the weird, like childish voice that was on there, and it had like clicking fingers in it. Like it just quite a good, like a nice song to listen to. I really enjoyed that one. Second favourite. And again, actually, with a third favourite, there was a lot of songs that could have been third, because I kind of agree with Will in that there was a lot of songs that were in the same category as just like nice, good songs, even though you'd argue these are a bit different genre. And those were like, I'll say my favourite honourable mentions at the end. Yeah, third was really difficult. Top two, it was kind of always between. But number two was If Too Shy, Let Me Know. It's got the epic saxophone in it. No song is bad with the saxophone in it. It's the poppiest song. It's most like their older music. Had a great vibe to it, and I liked the sort of actually changes they made since the live version. Like in the chorus where it's like, I need to get back. It like drops when he says the word back. For some reason, that hook got me every time. I really liked it when they did that. So that was number 2. And number 1, by a mile, I love this song so much, was Nothing Revealed, Everything Denied. It's weird because it's kind of rappy, but it's not. And as Matty Healy describes it, it's flow, not rap. Because it just has a nice flow to it. I love the piano intro, much like Tonight. It has like a piano intro, and I always love that when it starts off with just a sort of piano and then drops with the music. I love that in songs. I felt like the lyrics, like, I don't know, I just found it quite powerful, and it was quite a poppy beat. I'm actually realising my notes, why I put slow rap, I actually put slow rape.
Oh my god.
In my notes. But no, I meant rap. Just can't spell. And yeah, I loved it. A lot of other honourable mentions, like People, I loved Then Because She Goes, Roadkill, Me and You Together song. I think There's Something You Should Know. Like, I'm surprised Joe put that, but that is a song I really like. And actually, to be honest, Guys I wasn't a huge fan of, but it was okay. That's why I could honestly say, like, if the album ended at Too Shy and then skipped off those other 6 songs, it would also do a lot better. But then again, those songs only probably harmed it a little bit. But they definitely added to the sponginess. Like, I could deal with the filler up until that point, because once it got past If You're Too Shy, I was kind of like, I've got nothing to look forward to now. So like having the contrast of like the fillerier songs to the good songs was lost at the end. So that's why the album never felt like a drag until after song 16. Getting from 16 to 22 felt like a drag. And it was only ever at that point. And by that point, you're like, for like 50 minutes in. So like that 50 minutes didn't feel like 50 minutes. But after that, it really felt long by the end.
I would agree, but I liked Playing on My Mind. I think it was then the next 3 songs I disliked, kind of.
I think it's because they were all much slower and... Well, actually,
I really like the last 2, though. Like, I really... Like, Don't Worry, I think that's really good. That was close to being my 3rd favourite, actually. I love that his dad sings in it as well.
I thought that it was nice, but because it was slow, I kind of lost didn't have a lot of them had a good vibe and beat, which the last songs just didn't have. I guess it kind of worked as like the ending to it, because it sort of begins to slow down, especially how it hits so hard at the beginning with People. It's like, boom, here's a punch to the face straight off the bat.
I don't know. I feel like that's all subjective, because from 1 through 12, they can all just fuck off, in my opinion.
Really?
Literally, just like all of them just can be chucked out. In fact, there is a gap of just 5 songs where like my favourites lie between what is it, 13 and like 17, and I'd take out Shiny Collarbone and Tonight as well. So
you see, for me, from 6 till 14, they were all really good. Roadkill, actually, side note, reminds me of Diesel.org.
I can definitely see that. I definitely agree with you. It does remind me of Diesel.org.
It's as if they heard that and were like, right, this beat, how can we make this into a song?
This sick beat.
Anyway, it's ratings time. Aidan.
2.5.
What?
Did you not listen to my review? I fucking hated this piece of shit.
8.5.
3.5.
7. Fuck me.
We got ourselves a Joe Midwood carrier over here. Guys, holy shit.
It's 21.5.
Oh,
it was
ouch.
Fuck.
You see, for me, I was listening to it and I'm like, as much as I did love this album, I felt like based on how I've reviewed previous albums, based on like almost like how many bangers were on the album, like how many could I just hit shuffle and listen to every song, is kind of how I've judged albums. And as much as I did like this album as an album in order, I couldn't justify giving it that high of a rating. Like,
Yeah.
So to me, I was like, is this album a 30? Probably not. So hence why I gave it a 7. I mean, obviously, you guys absolutely trashed it completely.
I'd say definitely not. Yeah. No,
You know, that's respectable, Will, that you can hit shuffle and, you know,
and
listen
like
to all of that. That's respectable.
Quite
I was
frankly,
listening to it when I was playing Minecraft earlier, and I was just there's not one song that I don't dislike. There's not a song I dislike, to be honest. Like, even I get why people wouldn't necessarily like it, because it's just in one sense it's just like people are just, I guess, will just be like, why is it even there? But at the same time, I can't. While I kind of agree in one sense, at the same time I don't dislike any of them, so I can't say that. I can't say any of them are bad. So,
it's a shame you had to listen to like almost the entire album before "If You're Shy" comes on, isn't it?
yeah, I'd say so.
I don't know, because I still don't like the way it's recorded that much.
But the way that Denver's said it actually is pretty bang on the money. Is that like you're going through it, obviously waiting for the bangers, and it's about the shuffling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
However, in my opinion, there is only one banger on this album, and that is "If You're Too Shy."
So if you hit shuffle, you've got a 1 in 22 chance of
I've
getting
got a
the song
1
you
in
like.
22 chance.
But
So am I going to take them odds, Will Davey? Am I?
I'm just more surprised none of you, like Me and You Together song. Like, that's a very normal song.
No, see, I thought I
like
was gonna like that song, but then it just had no energy.
Yeah,
I can get that.
full of energy.
No,
It really is.
I found a lot of the songs are just nice. They lack punch, a lot of the songs.
Yeah, definitely.
All the songs have a nice, good vibe, which as an album helps. But like you say, if that came up, if you hit shuffle, how many of them would you be like? How many would you not skip? Yeah. Especially when I've tried to look at it like, if I wasn't obsessed with the 1975, what would I think of this kind of thing?
Well,
and even though 7 is the highest I've rated a 1975 album, because I wasn't a huge fan until we saw them live, but we had already previously done their last 2 albums before then. But even still, with that, this is their lowest rated album that we've done. And I feel like that would actually be amplified, because I feel like if we went back to review the ones we've done before, they'd only score better, because I imagine probably Aidan and Joe would rate them the same, but probably me and Will would give them like extra points.
100%.
Yeah,
I'd give their last album probably like a 9 now. I can't remember what I gave it, but
again, that's an unfair bias. That's not like, that's just because of the experiences that you've had with them.
Yeah,
that's not an unfair bias, because you can change your entire opinion. That's like saying just because people can change their mind over time. It's not an unfair bias that you now like those songs more.
The difference is that you're sort of like, instead of coming at it with like a fresh pair of eyes and a new perspective on it, you're going into it knowing that you already like the albums because of the connotations behind seeing them live. Whereas, like, if I was listening to 1975 and then my dog got ran over, I probably wouldn't fucking listen to him anymore.
I don't know. That's not necessarily true, because like, it's more just like, I think a lot of bands you can't fully appreciate them until you see them live. Like 100%.
That is the most upper class thing you've ever said.
No, I genuinely believe that. Like, most music, back ages ago, literally just was live music, and that's.
What about
like
all these people that can't do?
That's how people were famous from music, because they were good live. And
yeah, but that's not the case anymore. You can be.
I know that's not the case anymore, but that's like, it's like Biffy Clyro for me. I loved them, but then it took actually seeing them live to realise they were my favourite band. Like, I don't think that should ever.
Wait, they're your favourite band?
Biffy Clyro, yeah, definitely my favourite band. 100%.
You're just fucking wrong.
I mean, okay, but
like holy shit. Like, I can agree with what you said with seeing the band's live thing. I do understand that it is white and upper class and privileged and all that shit.
No, I don't necessarily.
Going that Biffy Clyro are the greatest band in your opinion. That is hard wrong.
No, I'm not saying like you have to see them live. I'm just saying like
you did. You said you have to see them to gain the full appreciation of them.
I almost feel like we do though.
Go on.
Like, that's not me like being upper class or anything, because I'm not. That is just literally saying like any band, like Joe, your band.
Yeah.
I haven't necessarily liked the actual recorded stuff you've done, but when I've seen you live, I've much preferred your band. I think
I'm well behind
and that's
you on
fair.
this point. Though.
Like,
fine.
I think just seeing things live can completely change your entire perspective on things.
So would you say now,
I-
having seen them, Joe's band live, that when you re-listen to the recordings of that, you're actually like, this is all right?
That's
Like
what
the
I
one-
mean. I don't think that is
yeah.
the case.
Some of them,
Really?
yeah, genuinely. Some of them, honestly, yes.
But then I feel like that would always
Memory.
fall back into the bias category once again, in the sense that because you've seen them live and you have that experience with them, you like them more.
But I think it's impossible to remove that bias from yourself, because then you
Almost
could go so far
certainly,
the
yeah.
other way.
You absolutely can, and that's what I'm trying to say.
I feel like I have done that with this album though, because like before we reviewed this album, I had every intention to be like, this is going to be my favorite ever album. I'm going to give it a 10, and I haven't even heard it. I heard it, I reviewed it, I've given it a 7.
But I feel like if you didn't love them, you may have given them even lower, like you say.
Possibly.
Probably would have been a 5. In fact, I was surprised anyone rated it above a 6, to be honest, because I thought even with the fact that you guys genuinely liked it, you should have seen it from the point of view of, say, me and Joe, where, like, just most of the songs are absolute crap and there's nothing to them and it's just, like, noise.
No, because I don't think
there
any
are
of
a lot of
them
them. A lot of them I described as lovely or nice.
But it's just like it's just not an album really, because an album consists of songs, and this is just a few songs and instrumentals. I find it
Who's to say
hard
what
to
an
rate
album is?
it. I'm to say what an album is. Will I review albums?
For what you like for an album, yeah, and I get
But
that. But I
this
think
is
like
what I'm saying. It's just like it's hard to gauge that, because when I sit here thinking about it, if I took out all the ones that I wouldn't warrant as songs, it would get a higher rating.
that's
Because like sort of rather ones that are songs, because like songs to me are, like you say, they are musical pieces with instrumentals, but most of the time have some form of lyrics or singing behind them.
yeah.
And just I like this album really just didn't have that for the most part. And so when I gave my final rating, the reason I'm justifying it is so low is because most of them to me weren't even songs.
Mm.
This isn't instrumental review in my opinion.
there's 22 songs, and I've counted like 8 that I would class as actual songs.
Exactly.
That's fair.
I don't know how you can only class 8 as songs.
Because some of them are just instrumentals.
Yeah, but I think there's only 3 instrumentals.
There's 3 true
but-
instrumentals.
Yeah, but there's like some instrumentals that just have like words, but like
they're not even singing. They're just
they're not even
thrown in.
just randomly thrown in there, and it stops for like 2 minutes. Oh, and then they're back again.
That's like saying any DJ
wouldn't-
album.
Yeah,
song.
well, that's the thing. I wouldn't.
But
That's
DJ
fair,
albums,
too.
the ones we've done, did do shit.
Yeah, not only
So
that.
you could
but
argue that they're still just
a lot of them they did also have like singing most of the way through them, and the songs that did have singing most of the way through were the ones that got rated highest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, in the foregone conclusion, song is song when sing.
No, that's
This
still
did
no.
do better than Marshmallow.
Really?
Yeah.
I give it a
Marshmallow
1.
only scored 20 out of 40.
Damn, even giving it a 1 wouldn't ruin it. I give it a 0.5.
I don't even remember that album.
No, me
Other
neither.
than the Made to Remember song.
Oh yeah, good times. Sorry, Denver. What's the next album?
So next album. It's a bit of a throwback, or as Will would call it, a really old album, because it didn't come out
piss
last
off.
week.
No.
For fuck's sake. Go on.
Yeah, it's a bit of a throwback. It is Shawn Mendes, Illuminate,
Hooray!
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Woo woo.
the deluxe edition.
I'm excited. There are actually songs on this album.
Is this because we recently spoke about me getting loads of 30s and that you hadn't had one
It's not.
in ages?
It's not to do with that. I've been wanting to book him for a while, and yeah, it's just it's basically because we did his first album in the very first week of album review. Oh no, we did his latest album, but I had at the time wished Aidan had done this album because I prefer this album. Although I haven't said that, I haven't heard all the songs before.
Wow.
I've not actually listened to the album. I just know of songs on here which I preferred to any of the songs on the previous one.
I'm excited to get a 30 then.
Did you say we're doing deluxe or normal?
Deluxe,
Deluxe.
55 minutes.
Hot damn.
Obviously, we can't count the acoustic though.
As Will Davey stated right at the beginning of the episode, when you try do task more than an hour long, it's hard because an hour long not enough time to do album that I do task with. So I use other task and pause midway through to do song album.
Any final words, Joe?
Yeah,